desire to be free, the desire to get away from the hustle and bustle of our everyday lives. But after I'm done, I want to get straight back to the city and get straight back to my everyday routine. Now, that concept is something which escapes us all. There are not many motorcycles which can do so, but scramblers can. And the idea of scramblers isn't new. It started with a bunch of mates who had road-going motorcycles that they just wanted to have fun on. So they modified it to go off-road, race off-road, and just generally have fun. And that's where scramblers were born, and that's where the idea evolved. And Triumph isn't new to scramblers. They had the Scrambler 900, they have the Scrambler 1200. They know how to make scramblers. So when we got the Speed 400 and we also knew that the Scrambler was on its way, well, I was excited for the latter. And it's finally here. Just look at it. Just look at the magnificent glory that is the Scrambler 400X. This is what I've been waiting for, and this is the review that I want to bring to you real soon. So let's get started. Now, when Triumph introduced the Speed 400, I felt it was lacking a bit of visual drama, a little bit of that extra something. And the Triumph Scrambler definitely makes up for that in spades. At the front, the highlighting features are these 19-inch alloy wheels. You get 320mm disc brakes. You also get a headlight guard, a radiator guard, a bash plate and hand guard. Now, all these accessories come standard on the motorcycle, which means you pay for them in the base price that you cough up. Now, that you look to the side, you'll realize that the Scrambler is actually a bit longer. It is 40mm longer in its wheelbase and gets an added ground clearance of 37mm. Now, this is to make it a bit more comfortable and add to the stability of this motorcycle. And with that, you'd think it has lost some of that agility and nimbleness that you got from the Speed 400. But Triumph has also sharpened up the rake angle, and all of this I'll mention soon when I come to performance. Now, if you look to the side, the Speed 400 got off an ugly exhaust. Sorry for the language, but that's what it was. This one gets a stubby double exit exhaust, and not only looks good, it helps you in your off-road riding, and Triumph has also tuned it to be a bit bassier. This is how it sounds. That sounds really good and looks good as well. Now we come to the seat. The Speed 400 got two-piece seat, which is a bit more padded and also gets a bit more padding for your pillion comfort. Overall, in your long rides, your off-roading needs, everything is done in utter comfort. Now, at the back, nothing much has changed, but a difference which has been made, which is not visible to the naked eye, is the suspension travel. The rear suspension travel has gone up by 20mm and the front suspension travel has gone up by 10mm. And this also goes a long way in helping out in your off-road riding, as I'll come to in my performance. Now it's time to get to the features. Now, in terms of features, the first thing you'll notice is that you get an old street triple style half digital and half analog cluster, which is the same as what you got with the Speed 400. And this you get a bit extra. You do get the switchable traction control, and you also get an off-road riding mode. You also get a USB Type-C port to charge your phone. Now, in my riding experience, there were two flaws that I found with this entire setup. The first is the switchable traction control. Once you go to the menu and you find the traction control settings, you have to press the information button for exactly 5 seconds and then it switches off. But I found the system to be a bit erratic, sometimes not switching off at all. However, the off-road riding mode, that can be switched on via the same button, and that has to be pressed in 2 seconds, which was a lot more friendly and a lot more intuitive in my opinion. Now, in terms of features, the last flaw which I did find was the fuel readout. There is no issue with the instrument cluster as such, and it tells the fuel reading just fine, but with the sharper rake angle, Triumph has not compensated for that by adjusting the angle of the instrument cluster. With my height of 5'6", while riding the motorcycle sitting down, I found the fuel readout to be a bit hard to read. Now, in terms of ergonomics, yes, the ground clearance is higher, and with the 45mm addition in seat height, my 5'6" frame did find it a bit too tall. But all of it is necessary, and all of it you need for your off-road riding needs. However, once you get on board, the bike feels balanced and is easy to handle. The top-heavy nature of this bike can get a bit bothersome. However, the riding position I felt was spot on, and it feels natural to ride in any condition. The handlebar is raised and falls to your hand very easily, and overall it wasn't difficult to find a comfortable riding position, be it at slow or fast speeds. Now we get to the meat of the matter, and that is the performance. Like the Speed 400, the Scrambler also gets the same 398cc liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine, and that makes 40 bhp. But this is not the same engine as the Duke 390, and I hope we are past that argument from our previous reviews. However, what remains the same with the Speed 400 is that this engine makes 80% of its usable power low in the rev range, and that has really helped out in the on and off-road performance. Now, while riding, the engine feels buttery smooth and the vibrations only creep in past the 6000 RPM mark. The power delivery isn't peaky either. In fact, the power comes in strong and builds progressively all the way to the red line. There is no flat spot in this engine, and every twist of the throttle results in you surging ahead with gusto. The engine is mated to a 6-speed transmission, and the big plus point for the Scrambler is how well the gear ratios are spread out. First and second gear seem to be perfect for city and off-road use. In fact, Triumph has changed the sprocket sizes in order to help with the power delivery, and that really shows. In fact, the company has also reworked the cylinder heads and cylinder coating to negate any power loss. However, what impressed me the most is how usable third gear was, slowing down to 15 to 20 kilometers per hour and speeding up to triple-digit speeds. Sometimes I felt third gear is all you ever need with this motorcycle. However, we were only able to reserve our review in small roads and off-road riding conditions, and I never got the opportunity to click past third and sometimes going into fourth. We didn't get any opportunity to go into higher gears, and that aspect is something I'll reserve for my detailed review. In terms of handling, with the added height and the longer wheelbase, it should have been as agile, as nimble as it felt. However, what made all the difference was the sharper rake angle. I can't believe how good this motorcycle was to handle. It was an absolute beauty to handle on and off the road. It felt good, it felt user-friendly, and it felt like something you can use as a tool to graduate to bigger bikes. I really did not expect the Scrambler to handle as well as it did. In fact, it felt almost as sharp as the Duke 390, and that's saying something. Not only was the Scrambler a beauty to handle on-road, but it felt so forgiving and so friendly to use off-road as well. The bike has been built for those who are just getting into motorcycles or those who are looking to buy their first off-road ready motorcycle, and the engineering and the thought process behind that really shines through. Now, in terms of comfort, the added travel suspension in the front and back really iron out any bad pieces of road, any potholes or any broken riding conditions, and it absolutely felt at home. Now, while we couldn't experience any proper off-road riding or trails, whatever small trails I did put it through were dealt with absolutely no drama whatsoever. So, is this the affordable off-road riding motorcycle that we have been waiting for? Well, I definitely think so. I am a Triumph Trident owner myself, and this has really lived up to the expectations I had from it. It is extremely usable on and off the road while being the tool I need to graduate to bigger motorcycles. I'm seriously contemplating picking one up for myself. But what about you guys? Do you think this lives up to the hype that we've built up? And would you pick this up for yourself? Tell us in the comment section down below. And that's it for my review. I'll see you guys real soon. Thank you for watching.